Sacred Siren Circle, a sacred space for soul-led women ready to reclaim their voice, remember their power, and rise in sisterhood. I am your host, Marni Beninger, mama, soulpreneur, rebirth alchemist, Ayurvedic guide, and sacred space holder for women who are done living in silence. Each week, we gather in this circle to share stories, tools, and transmissions that awaken your feminine fire and help you live, lead, and love in alignment. So take a breath, drop in, and let your sacred siren rise. And welcome to another episode of the Sacred Siren Circle. Today, it is about the real soccer moms and healing from the sidelines. So this one is a vulnerable one. I never thought I'd record this one. I never expected, I guess, where this has gone. Really, it's about like betrayal, sideline wounds, unexpected moments of sisterhood with women I once avoided at all costs. And this is part of my healing. Now in cleats, in those fold out lovely camping chairs, and our quiet sideline chats. And so for years, I couldn't even look at the soccer mom world without flinching. That's where my ex had his affairs. For those that have not listened to any other episodes, welcome. I am newly separated from 16 years and had my partner of 16 years, my husband, the father of my 3 boys, had multiple affairs. And all of his physical affairs were with soccer moms. And most of his emotional ones, I'd say 90% of his emotional ones, were with soccer moms. And it's where he spent all of his time. It's where the lies lived. It's what he used to oftentimes saying he would be at soccer and would be with a woman, or just where that did. So there's a lot of pain that lived tied up into soccer for me. And it didn't matter if these soccer moms knew me, if they were married. It didn't matter because multiple of them were married. And so I saw them as part of the betrayal. It was just it was all interwoven together. And so I really kept my distance to protect myself, and honestly, to punish him too. Like, I tried to stay out of that soccer world. Our 3 children, obviously, he is a soccer coach, and so he very much soccer is his world. And so our children, I had always said we would never ever push them into it, but of course they loved it too. It's kind of that, like, it's in your household, you kind of love what your parents love sometimes. So our children would love it. So the further I could step away, the more it kind of punished him, because he really wanted to have that be part of our world. And so it was a way to kind of punish him by me staying separate, by making it harder for him. And by him not making it easier on me, it was my way of like, it's not a healthy way, but it was my way of kind of like having some control. And so I avoided making any friends with any of the soccer moms. I avoided eye contact. I would sit off to the side myself. I wouldn't go to any of the social, like, barbecues or dinners or the team events. And I always had my kids as the excuse of like, oh, I'm breastfeeding when I was younger with our youngest. Not to really connect with anyone, right? And really, every time I would have to go down to the fields, every sideline became this battlefield where my trust had been shattered, and where every woman I looked at, I had that fear of like, are you next? Are you who's going to be who I find in his Facebook messages, in his texts? Is it going to be you? Like, it didn't matter if I had known them for a long time or not. I didn't want to be a soccer mom. I avoided that at all costs. I didn't want to be like them. I didn't want to get hurt again. So I put up these barriers. I put up these walls. I I made sure that there was no connection to me being a soccer mom besides just dropping off the kids or, I didn't spend time talking to any of the parents, male or female, to be honest. And, and then a year ago, things shifted, or a year and a half ago, things shifted, because they couldn't find a manager for my middle child's competitive, like rep is what we call it in Canada, rep soccer team. And so my then husband asked me, is there any way you would consider this? I just closed the cafe. I knew I was taking some time off of work and was just kind of figuring out what I wanted to do in my life. And it was organizing, it's booking hotels and organizing the team and that kind of stuff. And I was like, yeah, that's stuff that's super easy for me to do. I have no problem doing that. And so I took on being the manager of this U10 boys team and decided to do that. And I remember my first introduction to the parents. I said to them, like, I don't know soccer. I don't like soccer. I have nothing to do with soccer, but I am managing this team. And so come to me with any of your questions if it has to do with like hotel bookings or game schedules or practice schedules, nothing to do with soccer. And I still kept my distance. I still, I did my job. I got to know some of the parents, and I slowly at some tournaments, I got to know a few more of the parents. I talked to a few more of the moms and got a bit more comfortable, but I still had this barrier, this wall. And then we separated 2 months ago, almost now. And suddenly I was at soccer all the time. It was literally all on me. Weekends, weeknights, early mornings. I was at the tournaments without my ex with me. And I used him kind of as a shield or an excuse. Like I would be like, oh, he can go. He would go down and socialize with parents, and I could be upstairs in the hotel room. When we would go to tournaments, I wouldn't socialize. So, but now I had no choice but to be there. I had to do it. The first tournament that we went to was Easter weekend, and we'd only been separated for a couple of weeks. And I really had no choice. I had to do it for my son. And my oldest son does sometimes have some anxiety. And so I didn't want to be like, here you go, I'm going to stay in the hotel, because it just didn't feel right. And so I went, I sat closer to the parents, and what I didn't expect was the warmth and the welcoming, and it's making me teary because these women that I had kept at arm's length offered me hugs, offered me condolences, offered me their support. They knew who I was. Some knew what had happened. Some had listened to my podcast. And they welcomed me. They brought me into their fold, and they listened to my story, and they just gave me love. And I realized it was me. It was that moment of, it had all been me putting up these barriers. And like, I think I subconsciously knew I had been doing it, but I remember saying to another mom this season, and she was trying to like bring herself more into the fold as well. And I remember saying to her, like, I just find it really hard. Like, I find that they're in their own little clique, and they've been together for years. And I find it really hard to connect with any of them. And they don't necessarily have the same, like, it's not even values, that's not the right word, but the same, like, they're not deep into like Ayurveda or womb healing. And not everyone's my people, and that's okay. Some day drink on the sidelines, and some I still don't vibe with, and I probably never will. And some of it is not my jam. But many, they're just like me, holding it together, doing it all, exhausted, tender, showing up anyways. It's that mom driving their kids being there, being that support. And that's enough. That's more than enough for us to have a connection. And I really started to see the truth. And I really started to see these women as who they are, not as these potential affair partners, not as these people that could potentially hurt me further, not as these people who helped him have his affair, because that is what I saw when I saw these women. Instead, I really saw these women as all of us as humans. And really seeing some of these women, I see them and still as like the silent she, they're in the overgiving, unseen, the surviving, and I can see it. And I am so deeply empathetic and compassionate to them because I've been there. I know it. I so deeply know it. And then I look at other ones and I'm like, oh, these ones are the sacred sirens. These are like, they are open, they are radiant, they are bold, they are full of forces to be reckoned with, and everything in between. And it's beautiful. And it made me really realize that sisterhood isn't always a sacred circle, isn't always this like, these people all have the exact same thoughts. And sometimes it's actually better that we're not all talking Ayurveda and we're not all talking about our wombs. And sometimes, you know what? I had those conversations on the sideline this past weekend about our womb and our moon cycles and our periods and the actual moon and, the patriarchy and all these things with a soccer mom. Conversations I never expected to have happen. And women listening to the podcast saying, holy crap, thank you for voicing that. And I honestly don't know how to respond. I'm still working on how to respond to that because these are women that I kept at arm's length for a reason. And now there's this deeper connection there. And, the sisterhood there that I know I'm tearing up because this one I knew this one would be tough because this one I deeply held as like, these people aren't good people. Not even that these people aren't good people, because I knew so many of them for so long and knew them outside of soccer. But that, the sisterhood is them saying, are you doing okay at a game? Or it's them saying, we'll take your kid. If you need a break, please tell us. Or they watch my youngest while I run to the bathroom. Or them just saying thank you and you're doing a good job, even when they don't know the full story. And it's maybe, just maybe, that we all judged women. I know I judged these women for the pain we were all holding. And I used this judgment as a shield. It kept me from feeling the grief. It kept me from feeling the betrayal even deeper than I did. It kept me from the not enoughness, from not feeling worthy enough. And so I used the judgment on them, saying they could be the next partner, they could, or that these soccer moms that day drink, or and don't get me wrong, they're not getting drunk on the sidelines. They're having a drink on the sides because dang, it can be cold and it can be a lot. And I am giving so much love and kudos out to all of the sports moms out there because it is a lot. It is a whole other world that you have to embrace for your children. It is early mornings. It is late nights cleaning soccer cleats and shin guards. And it's a whole other added thing that you need to work into your schedule and into your emotional capacity. And so it was really this weekend of like, well, the last couple months actually, of like, wow, when we drop our walls, when we let ourselves be seen and supported, that's when we truly begin to heal the sistership wound. when we start to really heal that deep feminine wound, because we all have wounding from other women. We have all wounded other women. And it's the one that says women can't be trusted, this wound, right? It's that we're all in competition and that we have to do it all alone. And that's a lie. It's this deep lie. And the truth really is that sisterhood is still possible. Even when we've been hurt by women before, even when we've put up these walls, even when we've closed ourselves off, it's still possible to heal this, to have this unexpected healing when we soften, when we show up, when we let ourselves be seen even in discomfort. It's really me realizing healing this relationship with this archetype of the soccer mom. I really went from this betrayal and judgment to this unexpected sisterhood and solidarity. And you really truly never know who's holding space for you quietly on the sidelines. And it's really rebuilding that trust with women is really, really, and lifting each other up is really what we need to do. And it's really sitting with the mantra of, I'm safe to receive love from women again. I'm safe to soften. And to allow that woman that's on the sideline, holding space for you, holding you up, just seeing you, allowing them in. And this is a big thank you to all those women. Geesh, I'm just teary in this episode. I think that's why I held off on making it, because I knew I would be. But I was very much wanting to do this because I have felt this for quite a few weeks now, and knew I needed to put this episode out there. And so this is a big thank you to all of those soccer moms for welcoming me and holding that space once I let my walls come down, for listening to my podcast too. Thank you to all those that have listened and are listening, and saying, I hear you and see you. And I had no idea that that's what you were holding. And thank you to all the soccer moms that I don't know, world over, all the sports moms, raising these children, and being there at all of their games and holding the space for not only your children, but for the women that are having a hard day, right? Or a hard week, or just need that person to vent to quietly off to the sidelines. So thank you. And thank you for those women that have trusted me with their stories, those soccer moms that have pulled me aside and said, I listened to your podcast and here's what happened to me. Or this is my dream that has been just destroyed and I don't know how to move forward. Thank you for being my voice. And so today, I want us all to take a deep breath in and and these are tears of like deep gratitude and joy. These are not grief tears today. These are that vulnerable, that other soft side, right? So tears are not always grief. And today my tears are not grief. My tears are of joy and of appreciation and gratitude and so much love. And so today I invite you to reflect. Sorry, I reflect too, but I really invite you to reflect. Where are you still keeping your distance, specifically from women? Where might there be love waiting for you behind the walls you built to stay safe? Where can you just open that window a crack? And you never know who might be holding space for you quietly on the sidelines. And so let's draw a card today, because I feel like Oshun will for sure have something to say about us judging from the sidelines, but really about us quietly holding space for other women on the sidelines, for us quietly healing that feminine sistership wound. about us quietly bringing our walls down, even just a crack in a window, to allow others to hold space for us and to hold each other up where we need to be held up, where we need a little extra support and help and love, that we allow that to come through. And so Oshun today, in all of her beautiful wisdom and guidance, it is Oshun of Mother's Milk, nurturing harvest prosperity. And the mantra of this one is I embrace the abundant harvest. And it's really the message of this is a time of receiving. And it's really about relishing in the gifts and the blessings and nurturing all that you have cultivated. And really taking a moment to acknowledge how far you've come and to express gratitude for the bounties you're about to receive. And so when we look at that with when we look at that through the lens of this sisterhood wound and these beautiful soccer moms, it's really allowing them to nurture you and to receive from them, and also to share your prosperity by helping others through, acts of kindness or supporting those that might really need it, by giving a gentle smile and hug to a mom that seems to have a lot of walls up. And so I challenge you today to see where you are holding back, and to also see if there's someone that you see on the sidelines that's holding back, that you could maybe just have a gentle hello to, or a soft smile, or say, "Are you okay?" And so I want to leave this mantra with us, that I am safe to receive love from women and sisters again. I am safe to soften. I am safe to belong. I leave you all with that today. You can see I'm in my Nelson Select Soccer Managers shirt today, bringing in the soccer energy. But I leave us with that mantra, and I leave you with so much love and with so much soccer mom grace. And remember to subscribe and like and share this with another goddess, another soccer mom, another sports mom that needs to hear it, and that I see you, I hear you, and that I am you. So I'm sending so much love to you all, and leave me a message if any of this resonated with you. And thank you. Thank you for listening today. Bye for today. So much love.